Hello and welcome to the first episode of Time Caregiver Confessions. I'm your host, Cami. So today I just wanted to share that this is a space for every first time caregiver trying to figure it all out, from managing, the overwhelm, the little moments of chaos. And each week I'm going to share real, unfiltered, raw confessions, practical tips, lessons learned, and a few honest laughs about what it's really like to step into caregiving for the first time. So take a deep breath, know you're in good company, we're in this together. So let's get right into my first confession. So, seeing how this is the first episode, it just makes perfect sense that I should share how I fell into becoming a first time caregiver. I should say a little bit about myself. I am a Gen X kid. I am an eldest sibling. I have a sister, 2 years younger. So we're in this journey together. So, with my personal story, I happen to be married with a spouse, and my sister happens to be single. When I did get married, this was over a decade ago. So when I did get married, at the time, there was a lot of toxic family strife and fighting, to be honest. And my entire family did not attend my wedding. So there was a period of time where I did not speak to my family and there was no communication. So no contact. My journey into caregiving came after years of no contact. My father reached out to me via text message. So I'm sure some of you are maybe thinking, like, of course, because the family needed something. That's why they reached out. Yeah, I feel you. I feel the same way. So anyway, I got a text message. And if you are like me and raised in a Christian household, and it was a lot of, preaching in terms of there's going to be hellfire and damnation, honor thy mother and thy father, etc., etc. So the text message basically read that, "Hi, Cami, I know it's been a long time, but we really need your help. Your mother is not doing well. I'm not doing well," meaning my father. "I'm not doing well. And I'm in the hospital. Your mom's not doing well. We need your help. And remember to honor, like the Bible says, remember to honor your father and your mother, or there'll be hellfire and damnation." So, of course, you can imagine I was shocked and then pissed because first, you don't come to our marriage, our wedding, and then the first time I hear from you is to need help. So I am a believer. I do believe in forgiveness. How I do believe also, don't forget to be older and wiser. However, I do have a giving, caring heart, but I would never knock anyone if they decided to not do what I did, which was to reestablish communication. But I totally would understand if someone was in the mind frame or in the space, like, absolutely not. I totally get it. But in my case, I had, after being pissed looking at the text message and reestablishing communication, like, okay, what is going on? Give me the context. So my first journey into caregiving was kind of just being thrust in, not full 124/7 in terms of living with my parent, but helping with my parent. Now, at the time, because my mother was sick, she's now passed on, but at the time, it was more of, I need your help taking her to her doctor's appointments, her specialists, helping with preparing food and healthy meals. Luckily for me, before my mother passed, we did establish better communication, and she profusely apologized and asked for forgiveness. So I have no ill will, or I'm totally at peace. We left on really good terms. So in terms of my first caregiving experience, it was sharing with my sister the load with my sister. So in that regard, it was fair, okay, just overwhelming and shocking. I would take her to her doctor appointments, have to rearrange my schedule with work, either say to my boss, I'll get in earlier or I'll be leaving late and make up the time. And then, helping to prepare healthy meals, trying to prepare, baked protein, things without dairy, because she had a lot of issues with mucus, and also I think pulmonary fibrosis at the time is what she was dealing with. But yes, so it can be jarring. I don't know if you're like me and you found out and got a message or some type of communication out of the blue, or if it was something that you always saw that was impending and coming. But that was my experience. So in terms of first time, that was, with my mother. Long story short, eventually, I think it was about a year and a half before she ended up passing, around the time when the pandemic and COVID happened in 2020. She passed away in July, in the summer of 2020. Not from COVID, ironically, but basically complications from pulmonary fibrosis and I think pneumonia, a touch of pneumonia as well. But I have lessons learned there. I learned that I'm glad that there was reestablished communication in my particular instance. I'm more so glad that she felt compelled to be on her own accord, apologize profusely, ask for forgiveness, acknowledge and take accountability that way. There wasn't any words not spoken, towards the last several weeks of her life. So I left in a good space. So those are the things that I learned. I wouldn't knock any other person if they had a toxic relationship with their parents or had the same circumstances as I did and felt like, oh, heck no, I'm not communicating with them. But that just happens to be my experience. But I hope this message resonated with someone out there. Hopefully you can relate, or if you're going through a similar situation, maybe my story will help you out, give you some validation or just some support. So I think in this next episode, I'll more talk about the other parent in my life, which is our father, in dealing with caregiving in that respect, how dealing with his ailments and his aging process as a caregiver and splitting the duties with a sibling, how that's going, particularly when you have no medical background. So if you're like me, you're just a regular girl trying to figure it out, trying to live your life. I happen to be married, but I understand there are people that are single. You could be a single sibling, an only child. I do have friends in that situation, only children, trying to care for an aging parent. I can't imagine doing it all by myself. And it's so important to get help. These are just so many small lessons I've learned along the way. And I'm hoping through this episode and many episodes to come that I can share some of the life lessons I've learned in order to help other people navigate their journey too, and help you feel seen and supported. So just wanted to share those words of encouragement, and that's it for episode 1. And with that in mind, I just wanted to say thank you for listening. And this is our first episode. I hope you felt seen and supported. Take a second to follow the show and share it with another caregiver who could use a little encouragement. You can also connect with me on the website and anywhere you listen to your Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And just to keep the conversation going, links will be in the description. And until next time, take care of yourself and remember, you're doing better than you think.